Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4.
This is TR Outdoors, baby.
That's our intro?
Hey guys, welcome back to TR Outdoors. Today we're gonna show you guys how to trap some leeches. We're just out camping here in Alberta, Western Alberta. Thought it would be a perfect opportunity to trap some leeches for fishing bait, whether it's walleye, pike, bass, perch, trout love them too. So essentially you want to take your pie plate and you want to bend the two sides and you want to fold it over, line them up. And essentially that will be your trap. And so what you want to do is you want to put a couple rocks in there so that it weighs it down. Because often the meat will make it float, or the air inside of it will make it float. This just makes it sink easier, sorry. And then essentially you just want to take some chunks of deer meat. This is left over from a deer I shot a couple years ago. So essentially it's essentially gone not the best to eat. So it's perfect for bait like this. You want to just throw a couple chunks in there, just like this. And then what you want to do, you want to take a stapler, or you can use the little clips you can get from Staples or Walmart or something like that clip on the edge. But I prefer Staples just so that it's more of a permanent thing, harder to get open, not just gonna fail on you when you set your trap. You essentially just want to staple your edges shut. Just like that. If you have a couple staples that don't go all the way through, you can just push them through yourself, just like this, and just bend them over with your fingers. Then you want to take your knife, and essentially for this to sink, you want some air holes in it, and you want the leeches to be able to get into the trap. So you just take your knife, maybe make a couple bigger ones for your bigger leeches. Do both sides just so that if the trap lands on where this side's up, then you at least have some holes in there. And then you want to come right here, right up to the top. This is where your line's going to be tied on to be able to set your trap. You're going to punch a hole and carve it through just like that. Then you take your line, and we really like braided line for this just so that it's a little bit stronger. Won't get cut on the tin foil here, or the aluminum. And then you essentially just do it as though you were tying a hook on to your line, and you essentially, I prefer the clinch knot, so you just go around. With braid you don't have to go around as many times, but I don't know, 6 to 10 times, 15 times, whatever you prefer. And essentially you just pull it down. There's the knot there, you can just pinch, pull down, cinch down. Don't cinch too tight, otherwise the line will cut through the tin foil. But as long as you're able to pull this trap out. And then, what you want to do, and this pond here is perfect, it's just a little tiny slough. Usually the ones that have shallow water in them, and not the cleanest water, will have the most leeches. So, and a place like this is perfect with the willows, so then you can tie your trap right off to it, and then you can come back the next day and check it. So you essentially, I'm going to throw it in the water, you let it sink all the way down to the bottom, you take your line, you just take it, cut it. So then you come here, you find yourself a willow, a branch, a rock, water bottle, whatever you want to use. You essentially just tie it to the willow. It doesn't have to be anything special. You can use granny knots, you can use whatever knots you want. But I just prefer using a couple granny knots, a couple overhand knots, whatever you want to call them, just because this isn't going to go anywhere. The leeches aren't going to be able to pick up the trap, especially with the rocks in there. I mean, maybe if you got an army of leeches, they might be able to. Might skitter away with it, but with this, I doubt the chances are too high of them taking a tinfoil trap filled with rock and meat out into the pond. So that's how you set the first trap. I'll just show you guys once more, just to reiterate. And if you want to watch the first part of it, you can just rewind the video back to the start. And but yeah, I'll show you guys how to do it again. You essentially just want to bend out the sides so that it folds easier. Try to find the middle as close as you can. You want to push down in here, fold this over, try to get it as even as possible, and if this happens, just push your finger in there like this, bend it, close it shut, because you don't necessarily need a tight seal. You want the tightest seal you can get. You don't want leeches that are perfect fishing bait to escape. And so essentially, if you're on a gravel road like this, or if you're not, find some rocks before you go out. These are perfect here. Stuff like this, rocks like this, whatever. Something to make at least the trap sink. You want to just shove in there. You don't need much. You really don't. Then you take some deer meat, leftover fish parts like heads, tails, essentially stuff like that works too. Chicken liver works really well. Beef liver works really well. But essentially you just want to cut chunks off. The bones won't do you anything. What really attracts them is the fat and the blood in the meat. So you just want to cut these parts off, throw them in. And this is what's going to attract the leeches. And the leeches are perfect walleye bait. They love them bottom bouncing, slip bobber, jigging, whatever you want to use them for. Walleye love them. And if you're looking for a feed of walleye, this is the perfect way to do it, just with some fresh deer meat. Whether it's old, fresh, stuff you don't want, ribs, whatever. For whatever reason, they love deer meat. They absolutely love it. You put it in there, slam it shut. Whether you want to punch your holes in first or staple it, you just want to staple it, pinch it shut, put clamps on here, whatever, clips, whatever it may be. You just want to come through. You want to make sure that this isn't going to open, essentially like this, when you go to pull it out of the water. Because that water is really hard on these traps, especially when it's just thin tin foil or aluminum like this. And then you just want to take your knife, punch it through, spin a little hole. Doesn't need to be massive, just enough to be able to get your line through. You take your spool of line, braided is perfect for this, and if you're going to use mono or fluoro, make sure that it's a little heavier to be able to withstand the abrasion that you're going to get from this. And essentially, just do a classic clinch knot, uni knot, whatever you want to do with it. And I love the clinch knot, so you wrap it through, you pull it through the hole, you wrap it around the main line a few times, you pull it through the loop, and you get like this. You just pull the knot down, cinch it down, not too tight, otherwise it'll get off. It'll pull through, rip right through that tin foil. Then you take your knife, just stab a bunch of holes in it. Whether you want to make some bigger ones, if you want some big juicy leeches for your walleye fishing, because we all know they love big juicy leeches. You just want to go through, punch a few holes, both sides, just in case you don't know what side your trap's going to land on. go through like this. And then what you want to do, keep your knife by your side, whether it's on the ground or in your pocket or your belt loop or whatever you may do. Throw it in, let it sink. Those rocks will drag it down to the bottom. Give it some line. Take your knife, cut your braid, monoflora, whatever you have, slice through it, and then you'd want to find branches like this. These branches work perfect. A leech isn't going to be able to pull it away from that. You can use a rock, you can use, lots of people use Gatorade bottles, water bottles filled with air, whatever it may be to float on the surface. But most times when you find these sloughs, if you step in them, you're going to sink. Okay guys, camera, SD card got full there. Essentially you just want to tie it a couple times. And since we're out here camping, we're not too far. We'll be able to come out here tomorrow morning, check them. It's currently around 8-9 o'clock right now. We'll probably come out here around 10 tomorrow. Give them a solid 12 to 15 hours to sit. That's what I would recommend for ensuring you at least get enough leeches to go fishing for a day. I can't promise this is going to catch you enough leeches to start your own leech business, your bait company, but it's enough to be able to give you enough to go out fishing with a couple friends for an afternoon, a morning, a day, whatever you want. And with these little ponds, you want to find ones that actually have leeches. It's not about finding ones that look like they have leeches. Test it out. If you can't find a pond that has leeches, keep moving, keep finding them. Ask on social media. Facebook's got a lot of great fishing groups for Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, all of Canada, the States. Ask around. Ask your friends. Ask your buddies. They will know where to find these leeches, and that's where you want to try. I would recommend don't waste your time on places that you think would have leeches. It goes the same for fish. Don't waste your time where you think there's fish. Waste your time where you know there's fish. And that's all I'd recommend. So we'll come back tomorrow morning, come check these out, and we'll update you guys. Thanks. Well, it's the next morning. We left the leech traps for about 14 hours. You just want to pull them up.
Oh, there's one.
There's one already. You essentially just split the pie plate back open. And you look in there, we got a lot of mud in this one, but we got a couple leeches. Big jumbo leeches too. And so if you were to keep these for fishing bait, you just want to throw them in a water bottle, Tupperware container, something along those lines. Just throw them in your fridge. Check the nuts. Alright, trap number 2. Oh yeah, there we go. There's a good haul of leeches in there. Those are all great fishing bait. Hey guys, just got back home here. I thought I'd hop on here and show you guys how I store these leeches once we catch them. You essentially just want to grab a Tupperware container that whatever lady in your life won't get mad if you steal from them and use for this. Maybe go to Walmart or Dollarama, pick up your own. You essentially just want to fill it up with water and stick your leeches in a Tupperware container, Ziploc bag, something along those lines, and then just store them in the fridge. Keep them cold, and they will last quite a while. I've had some last me quite a few weeks just by doing this. Hey guys, so I'm just at home editing the video, and I realized that we completely forgot to film an outro for this video. So I just thought I'd hop on here, film this real quick, and just thank you guys for watching. really means a lot. We really, really, really appreciate it. And just let us know what you want to see. Comment down below, DM us on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want to find us, and just let us know what you want to see. Alright, thanks for watching.